Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fajri. Would like to introduce to you about the life skill we got from Man 1 Payakumbuh as a KOTA Madrasah. Namely, the cultivation is oyster mushroom, which is one of the icons of the agribusiness of food crops and horticulture. In this skill, we have several stages in carrying out oyster mushroom cultivation activities, namely as follows. First, stirring the planting medium. Second, ferments. Third, making a backlog. Fourth, backlog sterilization. Fifth, inoculation of seeds. And finally, sixth, incubation. Before that, the first step we have to do is prepare the tools and materials. The materials we need for oyster mushroom cultivation are: first, wood powder. Second, bran. Third, dolomite lime. Fourth, clean water. And of course, seeds of oyster mushroom. As for the tools, we need our sterilization drum, spatula, stove and gas, sprayer, polyethylene plastic backlog type, like spritzers, backlog ring, bucket, shovel, alcohol and spritzers. Step 1. The mixing stage of oyster mushroom growing media. At this stage, the sawdust as a growing medium for oyster mushroom is mixed with bran and dolomite lime. Before that, if the sawdust obtained is still coarse, we refine it by sifting. After getting a fine powder, we mix all the ingredients using a tool such as a shovel or hoe. After all the ingredients are well blended, add a little water at a time until the water content reaches 60% or the growing medium can be closed.
Step 2. Fermentation stage. This stage aims to make the composting process occur in the planting medium so that the bran can turn into nutrient needed by mushroom growth.
The methods are: first, the material that has been stirred is piled up like a hill with a height of more or less 1 meter. Then, cover it with a tarpaulin Then leave it for 1 until 3 days.
Step 3. Backlog creation stage. The planting medium that has been put into head-resistant plastic is called backlog.
The trick is, first, we put the oyster mushroom planting media into the backlog. Then, compact it by hand or a tool. For example, this bottle. Then, put the planting media again and compact it until the backlog plastic is full. If it's full, tie the backlog using a rubber band. Like this, the shape of the backlog that has been made.
Step 4. Backlog sterilization stage. At this stage, the backlog we prepared earlier, then we put it into the sterilization tank. The aim is the germs, bacteria, and other fungi do not interfere or become pests for the oyster mushroom.
We fill the sterilization tank with water, about 2 or 3 buckets of clear water. Then we close the sterilization tank using a black plastic. Then, enter the backlog and arrange it neatly. And tie it neatly so that hot steam doesn't come out and the backlog can be sterilized properly. Then turn on the stove and the backlog is sterilized for approximately 8 hours. After that, we leave the backlog for 1 night.
Step 5. Inoculation of seed. Inoculation is the activity of inserting mushroom seeds into sterilized mushroom media. Inoculation is done after the backlog completely put and carried out in a clean and dust-free room to minimize a possibility of contamination.
Open the tie on the backlog and sterilize the spatula with a rubbing alcohol lamp. Unscrew the seeds bottle, then crush the solid powder with the spatula. Then pour the seed powder from the bottle into the planting hole in the backlog. Recover the ring hole with newspaper that has been sterilized.
Step 6. Incubation stage. Incubation is storing or placing the inoculate planting medium in certain room condition so that the fungal mycelia grow.
can friends see in this room? This is a backlog that has been inoculated or given seeds. Backlog then we put on the shelf and arrange vertically or upright. This incubation is done until all the media is evenly white. In this incubation process, the room we need is a room with a temperature of 25 until 28 degrees Celsius and a humidity of 80 until 90% with room condition with minimal light. The last step, production stage. Furthermore, at this production stage, we must move the backlog from the incubation room to the production room, or we call kumbung. This is the kumbung, which is the place for backlog to produce oyster mushrooms. And this is where the backlog is placed horizontally. The backlog is treated by condensing or sprinkling a little water every morning and evening. And after about 2 weeks, this form of oyster mushroom has grown.